All right, Reds, we're back again for another Copy podcast show. This time we're doing a team news show. We don't do these as often anymore as we used to, but I thought, why not? Kristian's free, so
Yeah, I'm home alone.
he's home alone. So I thought, keep him company, get him on a show.
Don't show my missus and my daughters this. Like, yeah.
I know, just loving life home alone. Like, just leave
Yeah.
me here. I'm sound.
Just had a pizza, a pint out in town before this. You don't do that usually when you have a family life.
Well, you eat the stuff in the fridge and the freezer, don't you? Basically.
Yeah.
You don't really.
Now it's empty. Now it's empty.
Yeah, man. So team news is in, and it's me and Kristian, and I think most people that were in the comments were wrong. So and it's at the bottom there if you want to have a quick look if you haven't seen it. So it's 4-2-3-1. Alisson in goal, and you've got back four of Trent, Matip, Virgil van Dijk, and Tsimikas. Then 4-2-3-1. I'm saying that I think it's a 4-2-3-1 based on these players. I mean, I'd be surprised if it's not. I think so. A midfield two of Thiago and Henderson, and then a three behind Darwin Núñez is Salah, Jota, and Diaz. But we've just been saying them before we went live that we're actually. That's give us a bit more excitement for this game because we've changed it up a little bit and gone. I mean, we haven't changed it drastically. We've gone from a 4-3-3 to a 4-2-3-1, but there's more attackers on the pitch, and it's going to be interesting to see how we set up, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that we might change something, that we shake a bit, things up a bit, because we've been playing 4-3-3. Yeah, we've done that on the club for a long time. It's worked fine, but this season it's haven't been, like we said before, like not clicking. It's not in any rhythm or whatever. So I like that he actually tries something new just to see what he gets from players in a different formation. And I like this because we got like Hendo and Thiago in the middle, and then we have the four offensive players, which is really great. And I just like that we have Núñez up front as a striker, I guess, with Jota probably in behind if we play in this formation. And then we have Salah and Diaz on the, I just like it because he hasn't worked with 43, and it feels like a fresh start in one way. I don't know if you agree with me, but it feels like, yeah, do something different and try it. If it doesn't work, we can change a bit anyway during the game, but it's nice to actually see that we go with something new and actually try to see what that can give us.
Yeah, and I think Núñez starting is, because it's one of those, like, it was either going to be, if it's a 4-3-3, it was either going to be, I thought Salah and Diaz were nailed on, and it was either Firmino, Núñez, or Jota as the attacker. But the fact that we've gave Bobby a rest, so I haven't actually went through the subs, have I? So the subs are Adrian, Kelleher, Gomez, Fabinho, Kanate on the bench, which is good. Milner, Firmino, Elliott, Ramsey on the bench as well, which is also good. Ramsey and Kanate back. Carvalho, Bajcetic, and Phillips. So obviously a massive bench, but a lot of quality on there as well. Like you said, we can maybe, if we're doing well towards the end of the game, bring Ramsey on, give Kanate some minutes. So there's a lot of positives there, isn't he? Obviously, even before we kick a ball.
Yeah, that's what I like with the bench as well. You actually see that we have loads of quality. As soon as we actually have players back from injuries, we have more of a depth as well. So I like this team that we started with. I think the bench with some youngsters, some more experienced players is looking really good as well. And as always, no disrespect to Rangers, but we talked about this when we talked, the preview. Talked about ahead of this game, that they lost 4-0 and 3-0. And they can still be really tough to meet at Anfield, but to be honest, with those players and the opportunities and the options that we have on the bench to change things is really good. So I'm feeling really positive, even though the season's been really bad so far. But I just felt when we saw this with the new formation, I just felt like a new breath of fresh air in a bit, like just something different. Just try it and see how it goes. And it might be something that actually changed the whole game in one way, and we actually just go and actually run all over them because we're trying something new with more different players and stuff. So really positive this time.
Yeah, it is indeed. It is indeed. But I just want to go through the comments. We've got quite a few in here. Yuki is in. Nice one, Yuki. Before we go past Yuki, we were discussing. She call you Kristen. Kristen Stewart. So you're in the Twilight films now, lad. So yeah.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, though, like, we have to tell it quickly anyway, because you heard me saying, I can't remember who it was some audio clip that I've done that I presented myself, and you heard me saying, like, Kristian really quick, and it sounded like Kristen. So you were like, okay, so your name is Kristen and not actually Kristian. And now when Yuki wrote it on Twitter, it was quite funny because we laughed because we talked about it before. So, yeah. I probably officially now Kristen.
Kristen Stewart. I'm going to call you. Martin's in. Nice one, Martin. Nice one for jumping in. Pauline on Facebook. Nice one, Pauline. Yeah, we're live on Facebook and YouTube. So if you're watching on Facebook, then do jump over to YouTube if you want and jump in the chat or not. It's up to you. Either way, we're happy that you're watching. Martin says, hoping Nunes gets a couple tonight and gets his LFC career up and running. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Because obviously when I put a tweet up not long ago and saying like he's played like the equivalent of like 2.2 games, and I think at the moment he's played like the equivalent of like 2.6 games because obviously the red card and Klopp wanting to maybe give him a bit of time to get used to the system and obviously learn the language a little bit better and all that type of stuff. So hopefully tonight is even if he's like just plays well. I mean, if he scores, perfect. But even if he just plays well, good link up with obviously all the attackers on the pitch because there's loads of them. I think just a good performance, and that'll just those little baby steps to get him to the point where he's going to start just performing like we know he can because he done it against us last year in the Champions League. So we want to start seeing that type of Darwin Nunes, don't we?
Yeah, and I think it might benefit him to play, up front with three other offensive players just behind him as well, because he will have someone like if Jota plays, as a 10 behind him, he will have someone that will link up with him hopefully, and we'll have two quick players on the left and right side in Diaz and Salah. And I think that we're actually starting him at this. Yeah, sorry, he saw the comment there with the emojis. Anyway, but I think that that he gets game time, as we said before, and I know the many that's been watching us in the comments said Nunes needs to start and actually play games because that's how he gets self-confidence. And like you said, if he can get a couple of goals, and in the comments as well, someone said, Martin said, that a couple of goals tonight for Nunes is really good. And I that's the thing. You need to firstly, you need to start playing him because he needs the self-confidence of actually being on the pitch, because he was brought in for loads of money, and he's a young player that will develop and he will get the chances and stuff, but he needs to feel that he's actually trusted. Secondly, if he starts scoring a few goals, that will help him himself. All strikers need to score goals. If they don't, it will get into the heads. We've seen it with so many strikers, but that's the thing. They need to play to score goals. And if we can just trust him to play, I guess that the goals will come. Because he got the skills, we've seen it before. So I'm really happy with this formation because I think that might benefit him better.
It will. I think it will, because he can focus on just being in the penalty box. He can let Jota, Salah, and Diaz do all that work that they're so good at outside the box, and obviously Jota can then join them as a two sometimes and get in the box with them, especially off like corners. Obviously, we were a major threat against Ajax on corners. The ball's in from Tsimikas, and Van Dijk and Matip were a threat all night. But I think having Jota, who was exceptionally good in the air for a littler guy, and obviously Nunes, who how good he is in the air anyway, from obviously scoring for Uruguay last week, and he's a big fella, so he's always a threat as well. So I think it gives us another level of attacking threat, which is good as well. But if you are watching on YouTube and Facebook, do hit the like button for us if you don't mind. That will really help us. Comment from El Nkulu. Please link me for the match from Africa. I don't know if I can do that. Sorry, mate. I don't know if I can do that. I've got BT Sport in England. So what is it on in Sweden? What's the channel?
Oh, they change it so much now. You pay for so many different kind of accounts to watch football nowadays. We have Seymour, it's called, like the Champions League. We're on Viaplay, which is the one that we watched the Premier League on before, but then they changed, so now you have to, pay for the Premier League and the Champions League, which is fair enough, but it's a little bit, so for some people, and it's quite a lot of money as well. But just have to do it because you can't really live without it. So yeah, it's two different. But yeah, Seymour in Sweden.
Nice. Yeah, so obviously we've been through the Liverpool team, and I can't wait for the game now. I'm actually pumped for this game because I want to see how we do with that team, because that looks really, really nice. So Rangers team dead quick. McGregor in goal. According to Live Score, this is what I'm basing this off. It's a 5-4-1. So back five is Tavernier right back. Back three of Goldson. Ben Davis getting his Anfield debut.
Yeah.
Finally. And then King, and then they've got Barisic left back, and then a midfield four. Ryan Kent, obviously left wing, very tricky. Good player. It'll be interesting to see. He's got a point to prove tonight. He's going to be bang up for it. And then you've got Stephen Davis in there alongside Lundstrom, a Scouser, so he's going to be up for it. They've got Tillman on the right, and then you've obviously got Morelos up front, who's lethal in the Scottish League and in the Europa League as well, and has been in the past for them. So they've got some really good players there, and I think it's one of those that I'm excited how we've set up, because we've gone basically we're just going to go for it and show what we can do and how good we are. I think that's what that formation says to me, and obviously because we've been very leaky defensively and like just in transition, we've been all over the place, haven't we? So I think the two in midfield, like we were saying, like Fabinho sometimes has a lot of ground to cover, and if he's not in form and he's really leggy at the minute, I think that is it just feels like a double whammy. So taking him out, having two in midfield, and then the front four will be interesting. But yeah, what are your thoughts on Rangers then? What are your thoughts on their team?
Well, they got a few good players, and it wouldn't surprise me if Ben Davis turns into Prime Maldini tonight. Just, covering everything, tackling, we just sort them out. Joking aside, but, it's Rangers, and I don't really follow the Scottish League. I did follow them a bit when Steven Gerrard was there as manager, because that was just logical to do, because you wanted Stevie G to do well.
I see what he's doing,
but I don't watch, all football. I did before when I was younger and didn't have a family, but nowadays don't have the time, to be honest.
Busy.
So busy, I don't really know that much, to be honest, about obviously a few players, but with you should never underestimate any team when they're in Champions League. Obviously, like I said, they lost 4-0 and 3-0 against Napoli and Ajax, which says that they not really at the same level, maybe, but that doesn't take away that it's Champions League and we haven't started well in the Premier League. They will know that. They will, look at the other games we played and try to see what we've been doing wrong and actually play in that way. That's what they will do. Go through what we have done in the past. So, don't underestimate them. Don't take it for granted. Go out and do the job. But if we do that, I don't see any problems. If we can actually, with a new formation, get, like I said, a bit of fresh air and play in a new way and actually get going from that, then I don't think that they will actually be able to defend and we will actually win. But we need to do the fight though, because they will be up for it. It's Anfield, it's Champions League. Every team that actually comes to Anfield, we're used to us being really, really good. But everyone wants to do well there just because it's actually Anfield in the Champions League.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing. It's one of those that they'll be right up for it anyway, because they're playing against a team not far away from them, and they've come into Anfield. They haven't scored a goal yet in the Champions League group. Like you said, they got beat 3-0 by Napoli and 4-0 by Ajax. So they'll be coming here just going, because I think even Klopp referenced it before, saying like teams change the way they play because when they play against us. So they're just going to use the old blueprint that everyone is using. But I think that now that we've changed it slightly, that obviously won't be the same, because it should be a little bit more rigid as a defensive unit. I think Klopp referenced that in his press conference, saying that we need to make slight tweaks to make us more difficult to basically pass through, because at the minute we're just getting sliced open like a hot knife through butter, and that needs to change, obviously, especially when you're not scoring goals up the other end. It's all fine if you're being defensively shit, if you're scoring loads of goals, but when you're doing both bad, then that's when you need to really shake it up, and hopefully tonight we'll do that. I was just going to say score predictions before we go. What did we say yesterday? Did we do score predictions yesterday?
Oh, I can't remember now. We probably did. Yeah, I think I went with a positive 3-0.
3-0. I think I said 3-1 or 3-0, didn't I? I think.
Yeah.
What are you sticking with that now? You've seen the teams, or
Yes, I'm saying 4-0 now.
4? What's everyone saying in the comments? Score predictions in terms of tonight, because I think I said 3-1 or 3-0, but I think a clean sheet would be. I mean, I'm getting too excited here because like just seeing the team. Usually I'd just be like, let's just win. We need to just win. But I think a clean sheet would be like a really extra bonus considering we've switched up the formation a bit as well.
Yeah, but that's what I like though with this formation, because I think Klopp just sensed that we haven't been defending well with the 4-3-3. We left too much space in behind of the midfield and the center line, the defensive line. But with two like more holding midfielders and obviously the offensive three that's behind Nunez, they will still obviously have the job to defend. So it will be, when defending, there will be a midfield of 5 players, in front of the defensive line of 4. So that's good though, and I think Nunez will be able to play a little bit higher up to be able to keep hold of the ball if we win it in a counter attack, to play it to him and he can keep hold of it and stuff. But that's the thing. I think he wants to cover more space to not let Rangers in this case play in behind the midfield and actually be able to play against the defensive line. So I think that's good though. So Salah, Nunez and Jota will still have a big task to actually, defend a lot as well. But I like when we go forward that we actually, going forward with 4 really, really good players. And then obviously Henderson with his fighting spirit and, captain as well. And then Thiago, who can actually be the master of the game and actually direct the game. So I like it. Like you said, we're really optimistic now and feel like, yes, come on.
Yeah,
that's good.
And especially with the subs, I'll go through the subs again there quick. Gomez, Fabinho, Canate, Milner, Firmino, Adrian, Elliott, Ramsey, Carvalho, Bacetic, Phillips and Kelleher. Obviously the standard 2 keepers on there, but Canate back, massive bonus. Ramsey in the squad, which is a massive boost as well. Gives the team a lift, gives us an extra option. And yeah, there's a lot of good options there off the bench. And I think in the beginning of the season, obviously when we had all those injuries, we were looking at the bench and we had like Bacetic, obviously, who deserves it because when he's come on, he's done really well and he's a really talented youngster. You need to give him minutes here and there. But we had like Bobby Clark on the bench as well and stuff like that. So it's nice to have actually. It's nice to have like just better quality, and I suppose we can, if we play this game really well, obviously then we can make changes as well and bring on quality for quality, which is obviously what we want, isn't it?
Yeah, that's good as well. Even if we play Sunday night against Arsenal away, it's good if hopefully we can have 2-3 goals and then we can actually swap a few players like Thiago, rest him. We don't have to play him the whole game if we like 3-0 up, for example, and we can get Fabinho on. We can actually get a few youngsters on as well. Like if Rams is actually fit to come in and get some minutes, that's good, and that's why we've been talking about no injuries, hopefully, when players coming back, because that's when we get the possibilities to actually rotate, and that's what you need as well, especially now in October before the World Cup, because there will be loads of games. So I understand that Klopp might not bring the team that we expect every time on the pitch, because he needs to actually manage the game time in terms of not getting injured. We know Thiago is injury prone. We have a few others that are. So don't play him more than necessary. Let him play. Hopefully we can score a few goals, take him off, for example. And it's same with Trent now, because he's been in a bad form. He's starting now, but the thing is, though, if we feel like we're actually up with 2-3 goals, we can actually bring Ramsey on and let him rest as well, just to make sure that he's fresh for Arsenal. So it's all good if we can have this kind of squad, with all this quality. I'm just happy that we got it now, and hopefully no injuries tonight. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, well, that's the last thing we need. That's the last thing we need. With, like we said, we're really happy players are back, and we've got a solid, very good 11 there, and loads of quality on the bench as well. But yeah, like you said, Trent can come off, and Ramsey can come on, or Gomez can come on. Gomez can come on for Matip. Obviously, we still haven't got Robertson, which is a shame, but he'll be back very soon. But Tsimikas, is, like we've said, he's more than an able deputy, and I think he's been really, really good, hasn't he, in terms of just stepping up. And because there's a lot of questions over Tsimikas, I think, when he first joined, because he weren't in the team very much, and then I think he raised the Robertson's level, and then obviously when they were chopping and changing, Tsimikas was really good, and he has been ever since. And I think his delivery, like I mentioned, the Ajax game, the delivery from set pieces like corners and that, like Van Dijk and Matip, it was basically, obviously the 6'4", 6'5", so they've got an advantage anyway. But when you've got the quality of Tsimikas' left foot, and like I said, with the likes of Jota and Nunes in the box as well, we should be a major threat off those set pieces, because I think it's really underrated. That's like, and we need to, I think sometimes, like I think we've mentioned it before on pods, like sometimes the delivery's not been there, and it's like we're wasting good opportunities by hitting the first man. And there's nothing worse than hitting the first man, especially when you've got like loads of big lads up front. And I think in the Brighton game there was one where obviously Matip and Van Dijk come up, and then we play a short one, and it doesn't even get put in the box, and you're like, Van Dijk and Matip are just screaming at them, going, why have you made me come up if you're not going to actually just throw it in? Just throw it in. They're both massive, and it's more than likely going to get the red on. If they don't score, they knock it down, or they make the keeper save, and you get the rebound. It's just little things like that where we need to make use of the set pieces as well.
Exactly, and I agree with you. I think we talked about it on another show back a few weeks ago, where Robertson, we said corners, he's always hitting the first man, not always, but you get frustrated when you see that happen time and time again. Because I remember when being young, and I think I read something about David Beckham, that he was like he always aimed for whatever it was, corners or crosses into the box. He always said in his head it was always about getting past the first defending player, and then anything could happen. Just aim for, just get it past him, just curl it around or try to hit it over him or whatever. But that's quite simple to think that, okay, my only goal is to actually get the ball past the first defending player. If you do that, anything can happen. Like you said, Van Dijk and Matip are that big, they can get a head on it and score. Or if they don't, they get bodies into the box where, it can just drop to someone else. So it is actually, really good goals opportunities. You just need to make the right decisions. And to be honest, I just hate short corners. If it's not when you're just waiting for the game to actually end and you're in, you're leading, that's another thing. But when you're chasing goals, just make the most of it. Don't, put great crosses in, and stuff can happen. Just don't play it short, and just it's really frustrating sometimes when you do that, and you're just like, what? You just wasted.
I think it's sound though when they do it, and it's like it's a clear setup. It's a clear 1-2, and they play a 1-2, and then to open the angle a little bit, and then they whip it in. That's fine, but sometimes they're doing it, and you're like, they don't know what they're doing, because like they'll play it. So Milner will take it to someone, and then he'll run round, but then the person won't pass it to them. But then he'll try and cross it, and it'll get blocked. And it's like, well, that's clearly like it's little stuff like that we need to be better at. I think that can, especially with like needing first goals, like that. Those type of things it's really basic. But if we improve at those and start to score more off corners, free kicks, then we get more confidence and we go on and score more. So it's just easy, innit?
Yeah, and I think, what you mentioned, Tsimikas, and, he's been really good with his crosses and corners. That's the thing, though. Like, Robertson, he's great and he's one of the best. But Tsimikas, like you said, is equally as good. Like they probably have a little bit of a different, play style, but they're quite similar, and that's probably why we bought Tsimikas, because they scouted him and thought, like, yeah, we got someone similar. It's probably someone we don't need to change a game. We can just put another left back in to rest him or when he's out or whatever, and we actually get the same kind of game plan anyway and play the same way. But he's actually really, really good with his left foot. His crosses and corners are brilliant. So that's one of his qualities that we can't be without, because at the moment when he does that, he's actually a really great threat for us, and that's good. So Robertson coming back is great, and I hope he will play. But I don't mind Tsimikas when he's playing, because I think he's actually giving us something else with his crosses. So yeah, all positive.
And I think he's got the fighting spirit as well. I think like he absolutely just loves a tackle and stuff like that. And I think it's one of those that when you have Robertson and then you get someone in, you're like, are they going to have the same all-round game? And I think he is improving at his all-round game. I think it's the cross into the box, like you said, the boss, but like his defensive ability, I think, is really good as well. I think that's really underrated. And I think he's one of those that he'll throw a tackle in and he'll get the crowd going with that, especially at Anfield. And that's little things like that can really help. Just little baby steps in terms of just making us just better as a functioning team, I suppose. But Hero of Kvach has said, nice one for jumping on your comment, by the way. Wow, formation change, eh? I think we were discussing yesterday, like, oh, will he? Well, we weren't saying will he go for a 3 at the back. We were fantasizing slightly about maybe a back 3, but we knew it weren't going to happen. So I thought he'd just go 4-3-3 again, but slightly change it. And I suppose technically he has, because he's just gone for it's basically 2 holding and then Jota as like a centre attacking midfielder, isn't it, really? So it's just a slight variation on the on those. And I think that's you kept picking those for your Legends 11s, weren't you? You know, when you picked Ronaldo left mid and he was still playing, and you had to go at me. Remember that?
I can't remember. What was that?
Yeah, so we done this show a couple of weeks ago, and it was like Legends, North and South. And I picked De Bruyne and Salah, and then Kristian was like, "You can't pick players who are still playing." And then he said his out, and he was like, "Left wing Ronaldo," and I was like,
"That was an honest mistake, though. We've been through this. Fucking hell, we've been through this so many times." I get frustrated. But that's the thing. Just because I thought I was clever and being smart, and I was like, yeah, but you can't have De Bruyne and Salah because they play. And if we did a current team, North versus South, they will be in a team. And you were winning the poll as well because you had them in your team. And I was like, well, that's obvious, because if I would have had De Bruyne and Salah, I would have, that's the thing. And then you said, well, you picked Ronaldo. And I was like, oh, shit. Yeah, I did. But yeah, he's that old and shit now. So I regard him as a legend instead. But
he doesn't play anymore. It's fine.
Exactly. He's on the bench.
I felt bad for, like, JJ's put a comment in. I felt bad for her because I think she replied to something, and then me and you had like a back and forward for like 10 minutes. So like just about 20 messages. She must have been pissed off with us just saying loads of stuff.
like an old couple used to arguing about. You picked De Bruyne and Salah. Yeah, you picked Ronaldo.
But anyway, JJ's a nice one. JJ, even all, really happy with that lineup. I'm nervous about tonight though. Then I keep telling myself it's the CL. We got this. And then she says, score prediction is 2-0 to us. Yeah, I mean, we've obviously talked about it. I'm excited for tonight. Now that I've saw that, if it would have been 4-3-3 again, I would have been like, oh God, why is... I just laughed at you too, mate. Just proper, like that Robbo gif, just throwing popcorn in his mouth. Just one of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if it would have been 4-3-3 again, and it would have been like, I don't know, like I think I predicted like Elliot Henderson as the 6, and then Thiago, and then like a forward 3. I would have been like, yeah, I'm happy with the team, but now we've changed it, and obviously it's still only a slight change, but it just feels different, doesn't it? And hopefully that'll show on the field. Hopefully.
Yeah, and I don't mind that we're actually dropping Fabinho. We said in the last show that he's not been as good as we used to see him, and that's a problem as well when he's like this, holding midfielder, covering the back 4, and you can't trust him to do that at the moment because he's been out of form. And that's more of an issue than actually the defensive line being not as good as we used to either. So, it's because it starts with the midfield as well, covering the space before actually, to make sure no one gets through. But that's just obvious, when it comes to football and tactics. But because he hasn't been that good, I think, with two more of a holding midfielder with Thiago and Hendo, it feels a little bit more safe. And like I said before, like Salah, Jota, and Diaz will actually be, having a job to do with defending as well, coming down to make that midfield more, being more packed with players and not creating space for Rangers. So I really do like it. And obviously, like this, if there's anything that we need to change, Fabinho could come on for like Thiago when we can play a little bit more defensively as well. Say we 2-0 up, that's good to just, okay, Thiago, rest him. Don't, take any chances with him, and then put Fabinho on, and maybe he will find his way in this kind of formation as well. So hopefully it could be something that we can actually build on and play with in the long term as well. Not going with 4-3 always, but actually play this formation too.
Yeah, I think it would suit. I think it would suit Fabinho as Fabinho Thiago. I think you could do. I mean, you could throw. Actually, I was just gonna say, you could even throw Arthur in there, but he's not. He's not on the bench. Is he? He's not like. He's been on the bench before in the Champions League, hasn't he?
Oh, I can't remember, but yeah, maybe.
He's not on the bench, so I don't know what that is. But I was going to say even he could play as like a double pivot in the.
I think he's just not in shape. To be honest,
Yeah,
he hasn't played for a long time, and he was injured or then he came. I think they're just waiting for him to actually build up his fitness and be used to the way we play. Because, to be honest, Italian football is different to the Premier League. It's more physical, it's going quicker and all that. So I think they're just waiting for him to actually get his fitness up.
Yeah, and another thing, like you were saying about like Jota and Salah and Diaz doing like the defensive work. For me, I think that is good because we've got a lot of pace as well. So like if Jota's tracking back, he's got a lot of speed there. And I think if it's Fabinho, Henderson, and Thiago as a midfield three, on paper that's our best midfield. You could argue there's like very, very little amounts of pace there to like cover the spaces, and I think that's something that Klopp might be looking at in the future in terms of sorting that out a bit. Because I think the problem for me when we've played the midfield three and we've played like those three is when we come up against like a Chelsea or a Man City. There's a lot of mobility in their midfield and a lot of speed, and we struggle against like proper speedy athletes. And I think that's another thing that might help us tonight, that we've got more speed up top to obviously balls in behind, but also when we're tracking back, we can put those tackles in and close those spaces more. I think that's the key tonight. Closing the spaces, having the two, and then having the two, and then having the three. I think that just provides a more of a layer of defensive security. Then you can leave obviously Nunes basically on the halfway line and just play balls over the top. But then I imagine it's just going to be interesting to see what Rangers do, because I don't think it's either they've got a plan and they've seen the lineup and they're like, oh shit, we'll slightly change that because they've gone 4-2-3-1, not 4-3-3, or they're just going to go, right, well, fuck it, we're going to try and do what everyone else has done to them. And that's probably the way they should go, because like you said, they've lost the first two, they haven't scored a goal, so they're going to have to go for it at some point, aren't they?
Yeah, and it could be the doom for them, to be honest, now when we change the formation, because they probably looked at games the way we played 4-3-3, and now we change it as it looks like, and it could be a problem for them because they might not be prepared for that, and that's something that Klopp will know obviously as well. And I like what you said about the pace that we have in the offensive three just behind Nunez, because we get the Diaz and Salah, and we've seen it before. Both of them are actually very energetic players who can run back and track back, and we've seen Salah coming back defend in the box this season already. They can do it. It's not just the offensive skills that they have, they can actually run back and defend and go again up front. So they got the pace and the physicality to actually do it. So I'm really pleased with it.
Yeah, I mean, we're giving it the big in here, and probably shit now.
Jinxed it.
I put that tweet up earlier, like, and Ryan Kent scores a stunner to silence Anfield. Yeah, hopefully not. Hero of K-Vatch is another comment, a nice one. Can't wait for the game. Haven't caught the team live for a bit. Radio was great in the summer though. Yeah, I mean, I used to actually listen to the match, like obviously back in the day when I was a bit younger. But yeah, there's nothing like watching it, and of course being at the ground is even better. Jay's just actually sent me a video of in his like place that he goes before the match, May Duncan's, and there's like loads of Rangers fans just in there, just loving it. Obviously on the bevies and standing on chairs and all that. So I just said to him, is it all quiet and all sound? And he was like, yeah, they're really nice. So that's good, because you don't want any kickoffs, to be fair. Because apparently they've been all over Liverpool today, like in the town centre, like.
I've heard they were coming like in 15, 20,000s, to be honest, and they only got like probably 3,000 tickets. That's the thing, in their way in. So there's probably loads of them just coming into the city to have a good time, and hopefully, they have a good time without any problems. Because we've heard and seen it before. I was the Liverpool Roma game when Sean Cox, what's his name? Yeah. Was it?
Yeah, Sean Cox, yeah.
Yeah, when he was hit by a hammer in the head or whatever. We just actually passed that place just before it happened. And I remember, that felt, weird, because when I lived in England, I've only felt not safe when actually Napoli were coming to Anfield as well, because there were things kicking off, in the back streets and all around Anfield, and we were actually in the pub and they closed the door and all that kind of stuff. That's the only time until that Roma game, and I felt, what the fuck is going on? And, you never know, but it feels like it's probably a more of a friendly thing, even though, with Scottish and English and all the history and stuff, but it's probably more like this kind of same people, we're not going to do stupid things, hopefully, but there's no bits anywhere, in any kind of, supporter groups. Yeah. But hopefully they have a great time, and hopefully we will win. So, that's the thing.
Yeah, as long as we win. JJ says, hit the like and share on your socials, guys and girls. Let's help grow this Reds podcast. I'm currently on a 7-day Twitter ban. Oh God, what did you do?
What have you done? Exactly.
Who have you been calling out now? And he's put, we definitely struggle against pacey teams, so I'm proper happy with that new formation. I agree. I hope we look completely different tonight. I think we've said, it's a slight change, but I think it's a very good change for us, because it's a necessary change. I think Klopp ideally would just stick 4-3-3 all the time, and I think it's won us a lot of trophies, it's won us a lot of games over the years, so it works. It's just at the moment, slight tweak to then make a tweak back once we sort it out. Told an old Tory to hurry up and die, but I didn't even swear.
I actually saw that tweet and I was laughing.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't warn him and said, don't take that down, otherwise you get a ban. No, I didn't see it, to be fair. I didn't see it.
I saw it, but I kind of agreed, to be honest. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure I would have seen it as well. Yeah. But yeah, I think we're on for 40 minutes there, and it's getting close to the match, and I need to go and have some food. So I reckon we'll leave it there. But I can see on Facebook we've had a couple of likes on there. A like from a Santos Medicine, and a love heart from Pauline Jones. So if you're watching on Facebook, then do give us a like or a love if you want, and a like as well. And if on YouTube, please do subscribe as well, because that'll really help us. We're trying to get to 1.5k subscribers, which we're getting close to. Last comment from Hero Kvach. Excited to see Nunes. I think he can remind lots of people of his quality. I think that's the thing. Like, that's the one thing I'm looking forward to, because we've, like we said, he's not barely played, like in terms of how many games we've played. Obviously, he missed 3 for the red card, but he's not played enough to have a proper insight into what he's going to provide for us. But obviously, it's provided all rival fans with a load of perfect, like.
Yeah, but still, I know, but still, when he played, he scored against Man City, he scored against Fulham, even if it's a little bit lucky against Fulham. He already scored. He's been in the positions. He scored for Uruguay now. A really nice header. He's got it. He just needs to play. That's the thing. He needs to get used to how we play and get into, the Premier League and the pace and the physicality of it. I don't think there's any problem. You just need to actually play him, because he's already proved that he got the skills, so it's not fucking Aspas, is it? So
the Aspas corner.
Yeah, but then it was good though when he went back to Spain. But anyway, he wasn't good for us.
Same as Luis Alberto. Both
Yeah, went
both
to
went on to do
Lazio,
quite well.
become a star. Yeah.
Ben said, come on, Redman, going to be a hard game, I reckon. At least we're trying something new. Yeah, JJ says, thanks, guys. Stay safe. Up the fucking Reds. And yeah, we'll leave it there, even though there's loads on YouTube. If you want to throw your score predictions in there quick, and I'll go through them, because I think Kristian, did you say 3-0 or 3-1, did you?
I said 3-0. The other show we did yesterday, I can't remember now. We've been doing many shows now.
You've been on the bevies as well.
No, I'm Swedish. I can handle it.
He's saying I can't there, folks. He's saying I can't.
Yeah. No, I actually said 3-0 the last show, but now I'm actually saying 4-0 just because I've been feeling optimistic. That's the thing. I'm feeling 4-0 with this formation. Come on, just batter them. 4-0.
Smash it. Yuki's gone for 3-0. Hero Kvac has gone for 5-0. I mean, yeah, 5-0 around Kristian, because that's his buzz scoreline to buzz his air off. But yeah, let's leave it there, because otherwise we're going to be here till the kick off of the match, and I'm sure people want to go and have a cup of tea or a beer or some food or whatever. But yeah, nice one, everyone, for watching. Don't forget to like on your way out and subscribe as well to help us out. We'd really, really appreciate it. Ben has gone for 2-1. Very conservative, considering we're like, 3-0, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. Ben goes for 2-1, which is probably more
written. He said as well. So
Ben Davies' goal is written. It is. I mean, if it's 3-2, Ben Davies and Ryan Kent are scoring. The odds on, and then there's Lundstrom as well, who's a Scouser, and yeah, there's a lot of their players that could have maybe got a point.
He must have Swedish ancestors. Lundstrom. That's very Swedish.
It is, isn't it? It is.
Yeah. Lundström, as we would say.
Lundstrom. Yeah, but he's definitely.
We need to check that out.
Yeah. Do you want me to check? Do you want me to check it out right now?
Yeah, I do.
People might be interested in the chat. People might be interested. He's definitely from Liverpool. I know that 100%.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Wikipedia, my favorite source of. So Lundstrom inherited the surname from his Norwegian great grandfather. So there you go.
Nah. I would say it's more of a Swedish last name than a Norwegian, to be honest. But we used to rule Norway back in the days before we let them go. So that's probably why.
Before we let them go.
Yeah, they have their independence something in the early 1900s or whatever. I can't remember. I don't know the history, but we were a great kingdom back in the days.
Right, there's no more of a serious note than to leave it on than that. Oh wow, that's hilarious. Yeah, we'll leave it there. Nice one, everyone. Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, up the Reds. Let's hope for let's just hope we just play well. Let's just hope we just play well. Hero Kvac. I don't know if we're going to do a stream. We might do a stream after the game.
Yeah, I'm getting up real early to Stockholm though. Again, I catch the train at 6:30 Swedish time. But if we're actually winning and being really, really good, why not?
If we win 5-0,
it's more up to Mick, I would say.
It's not. I can do it. You're the one that's an hour ahead, and you're up early, so it's up to you. Ben says, "All hail Sweden." All hail Freddie Ljungberg.
Nah.
He's not a fan of Freddie Ljungberg.
Now we're going all hail Glenn Hussein, obviously. Yeah,
Ibra.
No,
Ibra.
Glenn Hussein is the last. It's the last Swedish player to lift the league trophy for us. I think when he came to us from Fiorentina, he went to win the league straight away, and he was actually captain as well, because I think Alan Hansen was out quite a lot that season. I think it was I can't remember. Whatever. But yeah, he's a proper legend though. I had a few beers with him just a few weekends ago.
Famous friends.
Yeah,
friends. RN7 prods, nice one for jumping in. Luis Diaz hat-trick for sure. Yeah, we're getting out of here because we're going off on all tangents here. We're talking about fucking Swedish players and
history.
Norwegian.
We give you all the history and all the it's nice. Yeah.
That might be a show we can do, like just like surnames and the origin of them, and I'll just like wing it on Wikipedia like I always do. But yeah, we've done Steven Gerrard player profiles part 1. That's boxed off, and then we realised very quickly when we were an hour in and we were only 8 years into his career that we need to do the second half, because we've obviously got like another. We got up to 2006 and we need to get to 2015, so it might be another hour that we need to do. So we'll do that at some point, maybe tomorrow. But we'll probably release the part 1 tomorrow, just as a starter, because there was a lot to get through. You don't realise until you start chatting about it, and obviously then you remember goals and you remember moments, you remember assists and tackles and all kinds of stuff, contracts going wrong and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll leave it there anyway. Nice one, everyone. Really appreciate you jumping in, taking the time to chat to us. The chat's been absolutely smashing there.
Brilliant.
But yeah, nice one, everyone. Nice one, Kristian. And we might see you after the match. If it's 4 or 5-0, we might be back. But yeah, nice one, everyone.